Welcome to my top 5 episodes of Season 5. And the Zone had found sort of its groove after the first season and went into the second season with a bit more confidence. They also had some production issues, which meant that they had to shoot on video rather than 16mm. But I don't think that impacts the stories all too much. Some of the video stuff is actually, from a production standpoint, of course, it looks very different, but story-wise, it works out just as well as it would on celluloid. The first episode of note is The Eye of the Beholder. The bandages and the facial reconstruction and all that kind of stuff. It's a wildly influential episode overall. It's been copied and it's had a remake, of course, in the 80s version. And it's just one of those things that most people would sort of recognize, I think, if shown, even if they don't know that much about Twilight Zone, they would be able to pick up on that one. It also has some of the most sort of creative ways of setting up the reveal. I mean, we should be able to figure out the reveal fairly quickly, if you haven't seen the episode before. The way that you don't get to show the faces, and there has to be some sort of alarm bells going off in the back of your head, even if you are going into this completely blank. And then when you get the reveal and all that's supposed to be, very startling, but the payoff is worth it, I think. The setup is great. I really love, especially the shot that I mentioned in my commentary of the doctor with the, all in shadow and stuff. It looks really, really good. And then the payoff, of course, is one of the more iconic ones. So that's why it's definitely the first one on our top 5. Number 2 on the list is Night of the Meek. And I don't particularly feel that this is a very strong episode overall. It has a very laudable theme and a very heartening message to it, which I really enjoy. But for me, it's all about the lines being delivered by Santa and how he can so eloquently put his condition and the condition of the world into focus. That's why it's on this list, and I think it's a very underappreciated episode overall, and therefore I put it here. Next is Odyssey of Flight 33, which is also a very iconic episode, I find, and it has a few really lovely special effects, practical effects, like they have some dinosaur shots cut in there. Of course, there's some minor sort of historical references that might not be perfectly alright, but overall it's a very well thought out episode and it leaves on a fantastic end note. The end, the sort of outro speech by Rod is with me still today. You look up at the sky and you wonder. And I remember seeing it for the first time and it gripped me and it's still with me, so that's why it's definitely on this list. Next on the list is Burgess Meredith in Mr. Dinkles is Strong. This is partly because of the tremendous acting in it. He plays this surprisingly well, given how absolutely ridiculous this premise is. But also because of the interesting practical effects. They do a great deal with very little, and they make it come off as though this could technically be real. It's one of my absolute favorite episodes ever, and having seen it again and sharing it with you guys was one of the treats of this season for sure. Last up for the top 5 of season 2 is Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? I don't think this episode gets the credit it deserves. It's not widely mentioned by anyone. I don't see it on being featured in other media. I didn't get a remake. But there are a lot of parts to this that I really enjoy. I think it's something, it feels a bit Philip K. Dick imposter-like. Not to the extent of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, but definitely the imposter. And the use of the Cayuga logo on the bus I appreciate the practical effects of the actual aliens, the process of elimination, all that kind of stuff. I really enjoy it. And then the twist at the end with, well, we were here first sort of thing. It just speaks to me. It's a well-crafted episode, and I don't think it gets the credit it deserves. But I'm definitely putting it on my list. That's it for my rundown for season 2. And thank you, and I will see you in season 3.